Okay, so this is my tutorial on the scale inch. I already have written directions in the Google Classroom, but some people wanted to see this done in a video, so I'll do my best here as I can. So I got a ruler, I got my 18-inch board. You see it's 18 inches. I got a pencil. And the first thing I'm doing is I'm marking every inch on the ruler. And you do this using the V method. If you're getting really close, I put the pencil right on the number I'm going to pull, and I pull once and I pull twice. Always putting my pencil right on the number. That's a V. And the V points to the mark. If you make a little mark, like a little dot or even a line, the line could be off. So the V makes sure that the point of the V is always your spot. This is really common in construction work where you're marking stuff on boards, and then you may have to walk away or turn your back, and suddenly you look back and you can't find that little dot you made or that line you made. The V gets very big at that level, and everybody can see it. It helps for marking and moving things. So I'm making all the way out to 16 here. Okay, I've done to 16 there. Now, if I have a square like this, I can use the square to make my marks at this point. I gave you that board to use for it as well. You can use that to make your marks. So my first line I'm doing is at the 16-inch mark right here. I'm doing the line all the way from top to bottom, like that. Okay? Then the directions say find the halfway point between the edge and the line. So if it's 16, that would be what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 right there. And the directions say make a mark a line 3 inches tall. So that's what I'm doing right there. That's half of my 1 inch right here. So now halfway between that line and the edge, I make a mark that's 2.5 inches tall. So half of 8 is 1, 2, 3, 4. And I make a mark that's 2.5 inches tall, like this. Okay? Over here I do the same thing. Halfway between, make a mark, 2.5 inches tall. Now, I just suddenly realized that under the new directions I did for you, I may have made these lines a different length. If that's the case, then follow the directions I gave you, because that makes it more pronounced, the lines. This is the way I used to do it, and I had just forgotten that I changed it. My apologies. So, now halfway between those lines, okay, I'm going to put a 2-inch line. Again, you have to use the square the whole time to make sure that your lines are straight up and down, okay, 90 degrees. If you'll notice, this is starting to look an awful lot like an inch, okay? You see the inch there on my screen? It's starting to look like the divisions of an inch. Okay, those are 1/8 inch divisions there. So I'm doing 1/8 right now with the 2-inch line. Okay? Then the last thing I do is all the lines in between those lines, I do 1.5 inches. If you see, I'm looking at the ruler here, and I'm actually seeing the 1.5 inches. There's 1.5. Put it there and just pull it down. Okay? I did that by setting this on a line right here. So you see the line, it's at 5, but that doesn't matter to me. I'm just trying to get a line to start with. So 1 inch up from that, and then 1/2 inch more, okay? So you can flip the square over sometimes because you get better laying on the edge here than you do if you take it out to the very end there. Let's flip the square over, back to 1.5 inches again, and 1.5 inches here. Okay? So now I've got all my lines, and they're all set to different lengths. You see the pattern? If you get close enough, you can see the pattern of the line lengths. Okay? Some a little bit shorter, some a little bit longer. That's how a tape measure reads, or a ruler, or a square. There's my square right there. At the bottom of the square, it's showing you the 16ths, the 8ths, and so on. I didn't notice that before. It even says 8th for the big lines, 16th for the small lines. So you can see the marks on a ruler. That's how you figure out how to read a ruler really easily and divide inches into fractions of an inch. So now I've got all these written out here, brought out here. Now I'm just counting them. So this, I'm going to call this 0 right here. And this is 1/16, 2/16, 3/16, 4/16, 5/16, 6/16, all the way down, okay? And then you're going to start taking those 16ths and you're going to be reducing them by half to their smallest number. So in the case of 2/16, that would be 2 would go into 2 once, and 2 would go into 16 8 times. So that means that's 1/8. So there's 1/16, 2/16, or 1/8. 3/16 can't be reduced. 4/16 is 2/8, and it reduces again to 1/4. Okay? So that's all the work I'm going to show you on this, because you can figure it out as you go down the line. The end here is going to be 1 full inch, or 16/16. You see that? Okay. So that's it for that side of this layout device. On your paperwork, I don't have that in front of me, but again, you take the ruler and it asks you for actual dimensions. So you make those dimensional marks on the piece. So I don't know. I'm just going to take a guess here. I'm going to say 5 1/4. So there's 5. And I know because I've looked at my, if I don't know, I look at my scale inch again. I go, so where's 1/4? Oh, it's right there. Okay, so that's 1/2. Then that must be 1/4. And you learn to visually see the break on the ruler. Okay, it takes time. People don't get it all the time instantly. It taking, once you get it, it's easier. But so I just marked 5 1/4 on there. I don't know if that's one of the marks or not that's on the list of my directions, but I do that, push the square tight, and pull all the way through the line, all the way through. And this is a layout. So what I'm trying to do is see if you're getting the dimensions right. So as you do this, you will mark each and every dimension given at the last line of the directions, and then make a line all the way through them, and then we can check them to see if they're right or not when you're done. This is something you can bring back to me to check. I don't want to give a half grade on this. I want to give an A. So I want to make sure everything that we do here is done properly and corrected until you understand the fractions of an inch. Okay? So there it goes. If you have any questions, we meet today. We meet in all of our class meetings. You can ask me more questions about how to do this. Take care.